We're sorry to inform you that due to severe weather conditions, your upcoming flight has been canceled. Please log into our app or website to reschedule. Damn it. I had just laid down, fur still wet from the shower, luggage packed and ready to go. I was bracing myself for a short night of sleep, but now it looks like I have no flight to wake up for tomorrow. I stare at the cancellation message, silently willing it to change into something else. It doesn't, of course. I pull myself off of my creaking mattress, reaching blindly for the suitcase I placed next to the bed. I unzip it and fish out my pillow and an extra blanket. I wrap it haphazardly around myself and stuff the pillow under my head, not even bothering to make the bed properly. My phone buzzes again. An email from the airline, bringing another reminder of the cancellation. Yup, no escaping it now. I'm not going anywhere. I was really looking forward to leaving. After a prolonged minute of staring into nothing, I begrudgingly opened my flight app. The bright colors of the loading screen beam down on me. I roll over onto my side and watch the wind-beaten window, that thin sheet of glass keeping the blizzard at bay. What am I doing? There's literally no point in trying to reschedule now. A snowstorm like this will put the entire city out of commission for a while. I take one last look at my phone. Low battery mode, 3% power. I know the feeling. I flop my arm over the side of the bed once again, pawing around for the charging cable. The phone buzzes slightly as I plug it in, and I flip over to stare once again at the window. Sleep finds me faster than I expect. At least in my dreams, I am somewhere else. Somewhere else? Didn't you want to live here? Didn't you promise all those years ago to all those people that you'd return? Now that you're here, you can't wait to leave. Face it, you've returned, but you're not really living here. You're just waiting to die. I shiver a little. Something feels off. I poke my head out of the tightly wrapped nest of blankets. My bleary eyes take a few moments to adjust to the bright light peeking through the curtains. What time is it? I reach for my phone on the nightstand, sleepily sweeping my paw around my desk until I find it. I groan. Guess it's on the floor now. I begrudgingly roll to the edge of the bed, still somewhat protected by my covers. Fishing my phone off the ground, I tap the screen to check the time. Nothing. I could have sworn I plugged it in. I get up, still swaddled in my blankets, and stumble over to the window. I open the curtains and... oh my God. I had known the storm was going to be serious, but... standing at my frost-covered window, I'm greeted by huge, looming, mountainous piles of snow. It had been ages since I had seen anything like this. Adjusting my cocoon of blankets, I reach out a paw and place it gently against the glass, feeling the chill seep into my paw pads. solid excitement of a snow day and the cozy security of a warm house in cold weather. I shiver again. A warm house. I look down at my still dead phone, then back up at the snow-encrusted window. My brain feels fuzzy and slow, unable to fully comprehend my situation. Wait. I turn and sweep into the living room, my blankets trailing behind me, and walk up to the thermostat on the wall. You've got to be kidding me. I can only see my reflection staring back at me in the temperature control panel, the interface itself blank and devoid of life. Suddenly it strikes me just how cold I am, how cold everything is, from the air brushing my face to the floor beneath my footpaws. The power must have gone out at some point during the night, and with it, of course, the heat. For a few long moments, I stand completely still in the center of the living room, attempting to process this turn of events. I trudge over to my fridge and open it out of instinct, but am quickly reminded that I cleaned it out last night. Probably for the best. This thing is useless without power. Defeated, I slowly walk to my chilled easy chair and sit, unsure of what to do. Without a clear way out of this mess, all I can do is start to daydream. I wonder if he's still here, enduring the storm like everyone else. Who am I kidding? I've been back here a whole year, and there's been no sign of him. Not that I've actively scoured the city for him, but I've just been so busy. Work has been so busy. Life just got in the way. I jolted out of my thoughts by the doorbell. Startled, fur standing on end a little, I crane my neck, trying to see the visitor through the frost-caked window. When that fails, I finally uncurl myself from my chair and step quietly toward the door. Peeking out of the peephole, I can see nothing. Just a white haze, must be covered with snow. I jump as the knock sounds once again, right next to my head. Hello? Anyone in there? My name's Theodore, and I live down the street. I'm just checking to make sure you're okay. Theodore? Yes, I remember running into him once or twice on the way to work. An Arctic fox, about 10-ish years older than me. I reach out a paw to open the door, then realize I'm still swaddled in blankets. I frantically shed my sheets and scramble around for a coat, cursing as I knock it on the floor. When I'm finally ready, I cautiously open the door. And the wind hits me like a truck. My fur fluffs up, and I curl into my jacket, shivering. I had expected my thick snow leopard pelt to keep me safe from the wind, but clearly I was wrong. The bundled up Arctic fox stands in my doorway, paw outstretched to knock again. Oh. Hello. Sorry for the surprise visit. Denny, right? I nod dumbly, too cold to give him a proper reply. He looks me up and down, concern plain on his face. I'm checking up on my neighbors. I understand a lot of people lost power last night, and... He stops mid-sentence, and takes a tentative step forward. Do you mind if I come in? Then we can shut the door. You look like you're freezing. I take a guilty look behind me at the state of my living room. It's a little messy, but okay. I step backward and let him shut the door behind him. Thank you, Denny. Some weather we're having, right? He gives me something between a grimace and a smile, clearly trying to lighten the mood as I shiver next to the door. He looks me up and down again. I nod once more, pulling my coat tighter around myself. I miss my blanket cocoon. How can I help you? Well, I'm hoping I can be the one to help you. His eyes scan the room, landing on the dead thermostat and the piles of blankets on the floor. I wince internally, thinking about what a mess this place is. It's looking like this whole side of the street lost power. As I understand it, the snowstorm knocked over a tree, which in turn uprooted an electric pole. Oh. My ears droop. That's pretty serious. He locks eyes with mine then, his voice gentle. Yes, I'm afraid it is. I'm sorry, but it looks like most of the neighborhood will be out of power for a few days at least. A few days? Panic starts to bloom in my chest. I was already freezing my ass off, and it was only going to get colder. Theodore seems to notice my alarm and gently reaches out to place a paw on my shoulder. I feel its warmth through my shirt, seemingly the only source of heat in the whole house. Denny, please don't worry. I will be happy to house you until your power comes back on. That's why I'm here. His voice draws me back to the present, and I look up at him. I still have electricity and an extra room for you, with heating, of course. I'm actually housing a few other people as well, neighbors from the side of the street. You are more than welcome to join us for however long you need. The gears start turning in my head. Before this, Theodore and I seldom spoke, and now he's offering to house me? I didn't have any reasons to be skeptical, but I know this might sound like it's coming out of nowhere, but we haven't had a winter this bad in quite a while. Neighbors should look out for one another in times like these, right? A group of random people at another person's house. Someone I didn't really know? And the crowd we've got is pretty friendly, I promise. His tone is warm, inviting, and absolutely genuine. I take one more look at the dead thermostat, and it stares back at me, vacantly. Well, it seems to say, what other choice do you have? I take a deep breath and regain my voice. Okay, sure. If you don't mind, I'd love to stay at your place, at least until my power comes back. Theodore beams at me, clearly pleased. Glad to hear it. Why don't you gather some of your stuff to bring over, and let me know if you need a hand. No, I've got it covered. Just give me a second. I walk briskly to my room, heart pounding. I enter my room and grab the luggage I had carefully packed yesterday. It's so much colder in here than I realized. Trembling slightly, I take one more quick look around, slipping my dead phone and its charger into my pocket. I knew I was set on leaving this room and this house behind today, but I didn't expect it to happen like this. I exhale shakily, remembering to breathe. I had never been to Theodore's place. To be honest, we had barely spoken before this encounter. I'm not even sure I know which house is his. I begin to worry in earnest now, twisting the handle of my luggage between my frozen paws. I wasn't even supposed to be here. I was supposed to be on a flight, going far away. Hey, come on, Denny, you don't have time to mope, or to panic. I chastise myself lightly, remembering once again to breathe. How is it so easy to forget? I look down and realize I'm still wearing last night's clothes. I should probably change real quick, especially if I'm going to be meeting new people. Oh God. Just keep moving. That's all you have to do. I take one more deep breath and release the handle of my bag. Just be normal. Theodore looks up from his phone as I return to the living room, glancing at my full luggage. All packed? Anything you need me to carry? No, I think I've got everything I'll need, and it's just down the street. I can always come back. Fair enough. Ready to go then? I give the place one final look around. It looks back at me, cold and painfully familiar. Yeah, I think I am. Well, I'd suggest a warmer coat, and you'll definitely need snow boots. Huh? Mind still fuzzy from the weather, I pause and look down at my clothes, then back at Theodore. Look, I've been walking around in it all day. That wind is plain nasty, and the shallowest snowdrifts are thigh-high at least. I know we've both got some serious winter padding, but this storm is something else. Oh, of course. Snow boots. I shake my head violently to clear my brain fog, but all that does is give me a headache. Right, sorry, let me just... Theodore flashes me a warm smile. Take your time. I putter around the messy room, collecting my thickest coat and sturdiest boots. My paws twitch slightly at how cold they are. It felt like everything in the house froze overnight, including my brain, I guess. I quickly zip up my coat and button over the zipper. I quickly zip up my coat and button over the zipper, then begin struggling with the boots. There we go. That's more like it. I try to give him a smile back. Ready to go. Promise this time. The snow stretches out in front of me, pristine, fresh, and almost paw print free. I take a few steps, disrupting the nearly perfect surface with my heavy, boot-clad paws. Despite Theodore's warnings, I gasp slightly as my legs sink in past the knee, cold slush seeping into my jeans. I lift my head slightly, and the snowfall seems to slow for a moment as I take in my surroundings. In that lingering moment, the world seems so quiet, dampened by the hush of winter. Fat flakes dance around me on their way to the ground, piling higher and higher around my submerged boots. I resist the urge to stick my tongue out, like I did as a kid, as I watched them descend. I truly can't remember the last time the city had been this silent. The snowflakes start to accumulate on my snout, on my shoulders, on the sides of my coat, wherever they can find purchase. My snout starts to sting, yet my other senses feel so muffled. For a single precious second, the world seems to stop turning. All is silent, calm, and still. And then the wind picks up again, and the sweet, beautiful snowfall starts to blow directly in my... And then the wind picks up again, and the sweet, beautiful snowfall starts to blow directly into my face and eyes. I hiss in pain and hike up the hood of my coat. The howling gusts tear at the fabric, trying to rip it off and ruffle unchallenged through my fur. It's like nature itself was reminding me of its It's like nature itself was reminding me of its preeminence. I feel the weight of my cold phone in my pocket, a victim to the wrath of the storm. I think of the plane I was supposed to board, grounded by the weather, buried like the cars in the street. I feel helpless too, taking it all in, a speck in the endless white ocean, whose tide could so easily sweep me away. I would be powerless to fight back. Then, a steady paw on my shoulder pulls me out of my thoughts. Hey, you alright? He's nearly shouting over the sound of the wind. I turn to face him, blinking and shaking the snow off my face. The gusts wane slightly, and I manage to get a few words out. Yeah, I'm just adjusting. I mean, I was born and raised here, but I don't ever remember seeing snow like this. Theodore nods. As far as I can remember, this is the worst it's ever been. I believe it. The cold starts to pierce through my layers, and I can feel a creeping wetness spreading underneath my socks. Theodore seems to be surveying the area as well, but I get the feeling he isn't just taking in the scenery. It'll be days, I think, before they can get the plows through here, and it's obviously still piling up, so... I can hear the worry creeping into his voice as he looks up and down the street. I look past him to my car, parked in the driveway, or at least what I think is my car. Only a vague shape is visible beneath the snow. But that's for the future us to worry about. He imbues his voice with some forced cheer and starts wading through what I assume is the sidewalk. For now, let's just get to someplace warm. I'm freezing my tail off out here. He leads the way, and I follow closely behind him. We walk slowly, with a wide, loping gait, footpaws testing for shallow spots, doing our best not to topple over. After only a few steps, start following Theodore's tail exactly. Sorry. After only a few steps, I start following Theodore's trail exactly, tired of wading through the thigh-high drifts. We walk quietly, both of us devoting most of our attention to staying upright. I wasn't really in a conversational mood anyway. For some reason, it felt wrong to talk too much out here. Winter was speaking. We could choose not to listen, but we shouldn't interrupt. After a minute or so, Theodore turns back to me and points toward a nearby house. This one's mine. I blink in surprise. It's huge. For some reason, I hadn't expected him to own the biggest house on the block. We walk up the partially shoveled porch steps, and he fishes a key ring from his coat pocket. I'll need to give this another shovel tomorrow. People will be coming and going. He turns the key and opens the door. We both hustle in and hurriedly shut it behind us, eager to escape the chill. The warmth in the living room is heavenly, courtesy of a robust heating system and a merrily crackling fireplace. I can feel my muscles finally begin to relax in response to the welcoming heat. I don't think I realized just how cold I had been until this moment. We're back. Theodore calls out as we enter the house, but I don't hear a response. They must be busy. Oh well, you can meet them later. He sheds his coat and holds out his paw to take mine. As I struggle to remove my snow-filled boots, I can't help but ask, how many others are here? A smile returns to Theodore's face. He seems to have no shortage of those. Counting you, I'm expecting 5 guests in total. He brushes the clinging clumps of snow off our 2 coats and hangs them neatly on a nearby rack. Some of them are still gathering their things. Not too many then. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I don't know if I could have handled something like a group of 10. Please, sit down. He gestures to a couch in front of the fire, and I readily fall into one of the seats. I resist the tempting urge to immediately curl up into the warm cushions. Theodore looks me over again and continues. Anything to drink? How about some warm tea? I prepare the leaves myself. I suddenly notice how wet my pant legs are and guiltily shift them off the couch. I think I'm good. To be honest, I kinda feel bad intruding in the first place, so. Theodore raises an eyebrow. Now, I'm gonna stop you right there. As long as you're staying here, what's mine is yours. I promise you, there's no reason at all for you to feel bad or guilty. It's not as if the power outages are your fault. And speaking of, I felt how cold it was in your house. You must still be freezing. Please, let me bring you a warm mug of tea. Alright, you got me. Some hot tea sounds wonderful right now. Excellent. I'll be back in just a second. He turns and begins to walk through to the kitchen. Theodore? He stops in the doorway and turns. Thank you. for all of this. It's my pleasure, and please, call me Theo. As Theo walks off to the kitchen, I remember the dead phone weighing down my pocket and begin to scan the room for an outlet.